So kind of one question I have, just general question is what's Webflow's strategy behind app gen? I think because I kind of see it two ways. I think either A, they're actually trying to compete with the other vibe coding tools and really are trying to take a share of that market and be the best. And I think if they want to do that, they're going to need to do what you and I were talking about, really make styling good and solve that problem that a lot of others have failed at. Or so there's kind of that side. Are they really trying to take that market? Or is this more so just to stay competitive, to kind of bring people into the Webflow ecosystem through this that might not have got there another way, to make people say like, oh, Webflow's got this AI thing. They're up to speed with everybody else. Like, is this just in a way kind of a side thing that they're doing just to try to build the core product? Or is this like actually something they want to have as being a huge part of the Webflow product that drives revenue towards it? Or is this more just on the side? What do you think?
Well, I will say that if it is something, so if they are just trying to keep up and that's the point of this, then that I think is a really, really bad idea. And I'll tell you why, because like, if that's the case, and often that would just be for the purpose of impressing investors looking like, why don't we have more AI features? Okay, we'll get this in, and then kind of just not putting much time and effort into it. If they do that, what's going to happen is it's going to bring the Webflow crowd into vibe coding. It's going to be like their first look into it, their first touch, their first kiss of a vibe coding tool, let's say. And then if they don't put enough effort into it, what's going to happen is people are going to start to like vibe coding through that, and then they're going to start to use other tools. Similar, for example, to like Molly on my team when I was mentioning, she was using Lovable. That's what got her into vibe coding, and then she started using Claude Code. So if they do that and they don't put enough effort into it, it's going to be a stepping stool away from Webflow, which is obviously a horrible idea. If they're doing it and it's something that's important to them, then I think they really have to lean into what Webflow is best at, which is making it easier for people to not just build performant websites, but to build pixel perfect websites as an expert would. If they can bring that into app gen, then I think, I mean, look, Lovable's massive already. I think they've been around for just over a year and they're valued at like 2-3 billion, something like that. It's not like they're going to just take over and become the number one. They can carve their way into the market. And if they do that properly and leaning into their strengths, then I think what's going to happen is they're going to be able to position themselves as the vibe coding tool for professionals. And I think that's a really smart move. And I hope that's what they're doing. I'm going to say I think that's what they're doing because I have a lot of faith in the Webflow team. You know, back in, I don't even know what year, I want to say like 3 years ago, I was getting really frustrated with the Webflow team. It felt like they weren't listening, no new features, like bugs were just popping up out of nowhere. And then they changed their team and their structure and everything really. And since then, the direction Webflow has been heading in has been amazing. The team, they feel really involved with the community. And it seems like they're not just in it to make investors happy, but to actually build a good product that people are going to love and people are going to use. So based on that, the answer to your question is I think they're doing it the right way, and I hope they're doing it the right way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the Webflow team's too smart and they're too, future focused to not just do this. I don't think they're doing it just to keep up with the times, I think they see this as a real threat to their overall business and they've got to keep up. And so I think they really are trying to, get into that space, make it a really good product. I think maybe the Webflow team of, 4 or 5 years ago, it might've been, it kind of felt a little bit more like that, where some of the features they shipped, like memberships, right? It seemed like they shipped it. They didn't update it, memberships and logic specifically, where it was like, they just shipped these features. They had problems that never got fixed and no one really ended up adopting them because they didn't put enough effort into them. Yeah. And that's kind of my feeling with app gen. I don't want it to fall into that boat of just being another, thing that ends up in the Webflow graveyard in a few years that no one adopted because they didn't put enough time and investment into making it really good. And I don't think that will be the case this time.